Luxury cars are always dropping me off at the campus gate. My roommate started a rumor that I have a sugar daddy, even secretly snapping a bunch of photos of me with older men. Later, her own father knelt before me. Master Jade, I'm begging you, please save my family. She had no idea I'm the last true geomancer. Master Jade, I don't know how to thank you. The payment has been transferred to your account. This is a new piece I recently acquired from Myanmar, a modern design, nothing too valuable. Please take it as a small token. The chairman of Phoenix Jewelry handed me a red velvet box with the utmost respect. I opened it. Inside lay a translucent, emerald green jade gourd pendant. It was imperial green ice jade, worth at least 100 grand. I nodded, took the box, and casually tossed it into my backpack. Just drop me at the front gate. My name is Jade. I'm a freshman at Northwood University and the sole heir to the ancient art of geomancy. Geomancers were once known as feng shui masters, but not all feng shui masters can be called geomancers. As the old saying goes, a first-rate master reads the stars, a second-rate master finds the waters flow, and third-rate practitioners are a dime a dozen. Most of the masters you see today are the common sort. The ones who truly understood the art of reading celestial patterns and auras once served in the Imperial Astronomy Bureau, working exclusively for emperors. My great-grandfather was the last director of that bureau during the Qing dynasty. I got out of the car, slung my backpack on, and stretched. Chairman Mike stepped out to see me off, fervently shaking my hand. Master Jade, you must visit my winery next time you're free. We'll see, I said. I pulled my hand away and walked toward the campus. I could feel other students staring and whispering as I passed. When I glanced their way, they'd quickly look away, acting all strange. When I got to my dorm, the door was open. I could hear Chloe's exaggerated, shrill voice from inside. Look, I told you guys and you didn't believe me. I know that old man, he's the chairman of Phoenix Jewelry. His daughter goes to our university too. How shameless can you be, hugging and touching right at the school gate. I can't believe the school hasn't expelled her yet. Oh my God, Chloe, where did you get these pictures? Chloe lifted her chin smugly. My friend just sent them to me from the gate. See? I told you she gets picked up and dropped off by different cars all the time. She comes from an ordinary family, but look at her, everything she wears is designer. I'm so sick of sharing a room with someone so disgusting. My face darkened as I walked into the room and dropped my backpack. Everyone immediately fell silent. Only Chloe shot me a snide look. Oh, back from your part-time job? What nice gifts did you get this time? Living in the dorms, I sometimes have to go out at night for cases. When my roommates asked, I just told them my family wasn't well off and I had a part-time job. The other day, after I'd consulted on a house for a wealthy businesswoman, she was so grateful she grabbed a brand new purse from her walk-in closet and insisted I take it. I brought it back to the dorm and tossed it aside, where my roommates happened to see it. Lily came over, stroking the bag, and gasped dramatically. Oh my God, Chloe, come look. Isn't this that limited edition bag you showed me yesterday? The one you said was impossible to buy, with only 10 in the whole country? How does Jade have one? Chloe pursed her lips. Her dad was the CEO of a publicly traded company, so she was used to being the only one in the dorm who could show off. She couldn't admit someone else might be ahead of her. It's obviously a fake. I nodded along. Yep, totally fake. I didn't care, but Chloe wouldn't let it go. When a few of us went to the mall, Chloe insisted my bag was beautiful and that I had to bring it. Once we were near the luxury brand's boutique, she accidentally spilled half a cup of coffee on it. Oh my God, Jade, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. This brand has great service though. Let's take the bag in to get it cleaned for free. I looked at the stain, feeling a pang of regret. It was a beautiful bag, a shame to ruin it. I agreed to take it in for cleaning, while Chloe and Lily covered their mouths, snickering. Is she brain dead? The sales associate is going to throw her out. This is going to be so humiliating for her, ha ha ha. The two of them led the others into the boutique, giddy with anticipation, waiting for me to be embarrassed. But to their surprise, the sales associate took the bag, politely served us tea, and told me it would take a week to restore. She asked for my address so they could deliver it back to me. That's impossible. Are you blind? That bag is a fake. Chloe's face twisted in anger, and she was practically pointing at the associate. The woman just looked at her, bewildered. Ma'am, this bag has an internal serial number. We sold it just last month. It's absolutely authentic. Now everyone was stunned. Jade, what does your family do? Yeah, a bag that expensive. You're so low-key, we never would have guessed. Not like some people, who carry around a bag worth a fraction of that, and still feel the need to show it off all day. Chloe's face turned beet red. She stomped her foot and ran off. From that day on, she told everyone I was a sugar baby and all my gifts were from old men. I couldn't be bothered with Chloe. I changed my clothes and headed to the cafeteria. Halfway through my meal, someone sat down across from me with a tray. I looked up. It was Liam, the campus heartthrob, resting his chin on his hands and flashing me a sycophantic grin. Master Jade, we're classmates. Please, can you just come take a look at my house? I'm begging you. The businesswoman who gave me the purse was Liam's aunt. She'd already told me about his family's troubles and had pleaded with me several times. But I have a rule. 1 case a month. It was only the middle of the month, and my schedule was already booked. I pulled out my phone and scrolled through my notes. It's June now. Your family's turn is next February. Liam got desperate. He ran a hand through his hair and grabbed my hand. Please, I'm serious. It's an emergency. Ahem, Liam, I need to talk to you. Chloe was standing behind us, her eyes red with jealousy as she stared at our joined hands. She had a massive crush on Liam and was always going on in the dorm about how rich his family was, how perfect he was, and how they were a perfect match. We were all sick of hearing it, but Liam never gave her the time of day. He frowned, annoyed. I'm busy. His cold dismissal made Chloe's eyes well up. Liam, do you really have to lower yourself to be with someone like her? Don't you know she's involved with a bunch of old men off campus? Just this morning, it was Mr. Mike from Phoenix Jewelry who dropped her off. What? Liam's eyes went wide. He cut in line. Why does some guy named Mike get to cut in line? What am I doing wrong? The other students stared. Had Liam lost his mind? How could he be this desperate? I pulled my hand away from his. Last month was Mike's daughter's birthday. She invited some classmates to a party. I just stopped by his house while I was there. Liam smacked his forehead. Damn it, why didn't I think of that? He shot up, easily stepping from his chair onto the table, and threw his arm out in a grand gesture. This Saturday is my birthday. I'm inviting everyone to a party at my house. The entire department is invited. He then looked down at me, his eyes full of eager hope. Master Jade, you have to be there. The students around us cheered. Faced with everyone's expectant stares, I sighed and nodded. Fine. Liam's family was the wealthiest in the city. They had spent a fortune, over $40 million, on a 6-acre villa in the Sovereign Estates, a development in the east of the city. For Liam's birthday, they sent several coach buses to the university to pick us up. Everyone was buzzing with excitement on the ride over, but the moment we stepped into the magnificent, gilded grand hall of the Felix mansion, we all became timid and self-conscious. Oh my God, that crystal chandelier must be 20 feet high. It's like a palace. Chloe, have you been here before? Chloe let out a smug little huff and lifted her chin. She was meticulously dressed today, with subtle makeup, fine jewelry, and an elegant cocktail dress that made her look like a proud swan. Some people shouldn't get too full of themselves just because Liam likes them. Do you really think it's that easy to marry into a family like this? Liam's mother comes from a prestigious family in the capital. She values tradition above all else and would never allow someone like you into her home. Chloe glared at me, then curled her lip in disgust. If she found out about your dirty little secrets, she'd have you thrown out the front door. And another thing, Jade. This is a party. You seriously came in sneakers? What an embarrassment. I don't know what kind of spell you've cast on Liam. Just as she finished, a murmur went through the crowd. The students started whispering and looking toward the direction behind me. Wow, is that Liam's mom? She's so beautiful and elegant. I turned around to see Mrs. Felix, arm in arm with Liam, walking right toward me. Chloe immediately straightened her back, smoothed her hair, and put on her most demure and graceful smile. Auntie, it's me, Chloe. I visited your home once before you. Mrs. Felix extended her hand, bypassing Chloe completely, and warmly grasped mine. "Ah, you must be Ma Jade, is that right? Hello, it's so wonderful to finally meet you. I'm terribly sorry, Liam's father is on his way back now. Please, forgive us for the delay." Mrs. Felix gave me a slight bow. Everyone was speechless. I glanced around the living room. The floor was covered in massive, book-matched marble tiles. In each of the four corners of the room stood a towering Roman-style column. A dark, black aura was radiating from those columns, so thick it was visible to the naked eye. My expression changed instantly. "I need to see every member of your family here, within the hour." The other students stared at me in disbelief. Chloe was completely dumbfounded. "Jade, what are you talking about? Have you lost your mind?" Mrs. Felix pushed Chloe aside and took my hand respectfully, her face flushed with excitement. "Yes, of course. I'll see to it immediately." I nodded and walked toward the column in the northwest corner. This job was going to be the trickiest of my career. I'd have to charge extra. I pulled my feng shui compass from my backpack. The needle immediately plunged downward before starting to spin wildly. A sinking needle indicates a place where negative yin energy has stagnated, making it unsuitable for habitation. A spinning needle indicates a lingering, unresolved grievance, a place that will bring harm to its residents. I circled the four columns, and the needle on my compass spun faster and faster. I frowned, my face grim. The Sovereign Estates was the city's most famous luxury development, and one of its biggest selling points was its excellent feng shui. The developer had supposedly brought in a master from Hong Kong, who declared the area was nestled by mountains and cradled by water, a rare and auspicious place where good fortune could gather. The wealthy ate it up, and property values skyrocketed. I'd noticed on the way here that it was indeed a good location, with mountains to the southeast and a river winding past to the northwest. But for the Felix's house to have such a strong negative aura, someone had clearly set up another formation here. And whoever did it was no amateur, they knew what they were doing. The other students were still chatting happily. Mrs. Felix and Liam followed behind me, looking like they wanted to speak but were afraid to interrupt. Master Jade, is there anything we need to prepare?" Mrs. Felix asked tentatively. I shook my head and glanced at my phone. "Have everyone in your family gather in the northeast room on the second floor." "Who lives in that room? Did they happen to break a leg a few days ago?" Liam gasped. "Holy crap, Jade, you're a psychic." Mrs. Felix shot him a fierce glare. "Watch your mouth. Master Jade, he's just a kid, he doesn't know any better. Please forgive him." I looked at Liam, who was a full head taller than me and built like a linebacker, and nodded. "Don't worry, I won't hold it against a junior." Mrs. Felix led us toward the staircase. The grand staircase was a centerpiece of the living room, ascending to a large circular landing before splitting into two flights leading to the second floor. As we started to go up, all eyes were on us. "No way, Liam's mom is inviting Jade up to the bedrooms." I heard a servant telling us the second floor was strictly off limits. Mrs. Felix must really like Jade. Is she officially approving their relationship? What about Chloe? Chloe stood in the grand hall, watching us ascend. The whispers and pitying looks from everyone around her drove her mad with jealousy. Just then, the sound of urgent footsteps came from the entrance. Everyone turned to look. Mr. Felix is back. Chloe's eyes lit up. She gathered her dress and scurried over to Liam's father. "Uncle Felix, I have to tell you something. Liam brought his girlfriend home, and she's insisting on going upstairs. I know your study is on the second floor, and you don't usually let people up there, but no matter what I said, Jade wouldn't listen. She comes from a poor family, and was just stunned by the house. We couldn't stop her. She just had to run upstairs." Mr. Felix's brow furrowed. "Jade." He looked up and saw us on the stairs, and his face immediately hardened with displeasure. "Nonsense." Mr. Felix started up the stairs after us, with Chloe trailing behind him excitedly. "Claire, what is this nonsense? You actually believe in this superstitious hocus pocus? You women, can't you focus on something real for once?" Mr. Felix scolded his wife sternly. Liam immediately defended her. "Dad, how can you talk to Mom like that? Auntie recommended her, and you know what happened at Auntie's house." Besides, they just gave a Nobel Prize for quantum entanglement. The frontiers of science are leading us to metaphysics. We should be more respectful of these things. Liam rattled off his argument, which only made his father's face darken. Is this what I'm paying for you to learn at university? All of you get downstairs. And miss, thank you for your kind intentions, but we don't need your services. Please, go have some tea and snacks downstairs. Chloe, who had been listening from behind, finally understood. So you're not Liam's girlfriend? You're a fortune teller? Ha 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 ha, that's hilarious. What century are we in? Trying to scam the Felix family. Jade, you've got some nerve. Uncle, auntie, don't let her fool you. We're roommates, I know her best. Jade has a twisted mind, she's a terrible student, and she hangs out with old men from off campus who give her gifts. Chloe smugly grabbed my arm. Come on, Jade. Let's go downstairs. This was getting a little awkward. At my level, most of my clients are referred by word of mouth, so situations like this are rare. But they happen. When they do, I just lay out the facts and let them decide. I turned and looked at Mr. Felix sincerely. As they say, good advice is lost on a dead man walking, and compassion can't save a soul determined to perish. Mr. Felix, until we meet again. If we meet again. With a wave, I turned to leave. Mrs. Felix lunged forward and threw her arms around me. No, Master Jade, you can't give up on us. Son, quick. Liam, who had been standing there scratching his head, came over and hugged me too. So now Mrs. Felix was hugging my waist from behind, and Liam was holding me tight from the front, his 6 feet 1 inch frame threatening to suffocate me against his firm chest. I was trapped like the filling in a sandwich. Liam said, Mom, you have to talk some sense into Dad. Mrs. Felix nodded. Richard Felix, I want a divorce. Mr. Felix. Me. The other students were all staring at our bizarre tableau. Not wanting to cause any more of a scene, Mr. Felix finally, reluctantly nodded. Fine. Go on up. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief. Chloe started to follow us, but Mr. Felix stopped and shot her a cold look. Young lady, please go back downstairs. Chloe's face flushed crimson. She glared at me, her eyes brimming with tears, then turned and ran off sobbing. We didn't have time to worry about her. The moment we reached the second floor, a trail of fresh blood appeared at my feet, seeping into my $68 vintage-style sneakers. Crouched at my feet was a black cat, a bird still fluttering in its mouth. The blood was dripping from it. Mrs. Felix shrieked and moved to shoo the cat away. Jeez. Oh my God. What are you doing? Let go of that poor little bird. The cat had a strange pair of eyes, one blue and one green, like glittering jewels. It ignored Mrs. Felix, holding the bird tighter in its paws and biting down harder. I took a few steps toward it. The cat arched its back, its fur standing on end, and hissed at me before tucking its tail and bolting. Mrs. Felix looked at me alarmed. Master Jade, what's wrong with my cheese? He's usually such a picky eater. He won't drink milk unless it's imported, and he only eats salmon and tuna. He'd never eat something like this. The negative aura was taking shape. It was already affecting the animals. I turned and looked down from the second floor landing, which gave me a clear view of the entire grand hall. There was a column in each of the 4 cardinal directions: east, south, west, and north. The circular landing between the 2 staircases was located in the northeast, the position in feng shui. I did a quick mental calculation, my expression grave. Someone has placed a soul trap hex on your house. A restless spirit is wandering within it, eternally unable to find a way out. Over time, the negative energy has concentrated, and now it's starting to harm people. A restless spirit? Mrs. Felix's face went white with fear. Where would a spirit come from? No one has ever died in this house. Mr. Felix snorted. Nonsense. This is getting more ridiculous by the minute. Claire, you graduated from an Ivy League school. How can you listen to this garbage? He rubbed his temples, looking thoroughly annoyed. Can we please stick to science and logic? I shot him a cold look. One more word and I'm walking. Mrs. Felix's eyes widened. She reached out and pinched her husband's arm. Mr. Felix suppressed his anger and stepped aside. The position represents wind and corresponds to the eldest daughter. The person who fell down these stairs a few days ago was your eldest daughter, wasn't it? Mrs. Felix gasped, her hands flying to her chest. Master Jade, you're incredible. Mr. Felix scoffed. Liam must have told you. Liam protested, Dad, I didn't say anything. We barely even talk at school. Mr. Felix, huh? I ignored him and had Liam lead me to the room in the northeast corner. In the room, a beautiful woman in her late 20s was lying in bed watching TV. She had a strong, square jawline and striking, well-defined features, but her complexion was a bit pale. Master Jade, this is my daughter, Coco. Coco, this is Master Jade. Coco rolled her eyes, her expression a perfect mirror of her father's. Coco, you bled when you fell, didn't you? Where were you hurt? Let me see. Coco paused, then burst out laughing. Mom, I told you this master was a fake. I didn't bleed at all. I just sprained my ankle. She looked at me with a smug, defiant tilt of her chin. Busted, huh? Mr. Felix immediately looked triumphant and went to take Coco's hand. Sweetheart, I knew you and I were the only rational ones in this family. Master Jade, I must ask you to leave. I furrowed my brow and did another quick calculation. That's impossible. On the 19th day of the 7th lunar month, between 3 and 5 p.m., the sun position is at its weakest. If the soul trap hex was strong enough to harm you, there had to be blood. Coco froze, looking a little uneasy as she scratched her head. I did fall around for something. You can even figure that out? Mr. Felix interrupted. Don't believe her, sweetheart. Liam must have told her. I stared at Coco sternly, then suddenly strode forward and grabbed her hand. You bled somewhere. Tell me now. Coco jumped, startled by my intensity. She blinked, and then her eyes widened. Oh, I remember now. I got my period right after I fell. Does that count? Her period? That was a natural bodily function. A wound from the hex wouldn't manifest as a period. I stared at Coco for a long moment, a terrible thought flashing through my mind. That wasn't your period. Coco, you're married, right? Do you use birth control? My voice was dead serious. You had a miscarriage. What? Everyone stared in shock. Coco shook her head like a bobblehead doll. That's impossible. I just had cramps for a couple of days. How could that be a miscarriage? No way. A miscarriage that early in a pregnancy can feel almost identical to severe menstrual cramps. It was normal for Coco not to have noticed. There's no time to go to a hospital for an ultrasound. Liam, go buy a pregnancy test. The HCG levels will still be elevated for a while after a miscarriage. It should still show up. Coco stopped him. I have one in my bathroom. I'll do it myself. She hopped into the bathroom on one foot. A moment later, she emerged, her face as white as a sheet, holding a pregnancy test. It showed 2 bright red lines. And Master Jade. I guess it really wasn't my period. What do I do now? Should I go to the hospital for a checkup? Oh, you silly girl. How could you not even know you were pregnant, and be so careless? Mrs. Felix's eyes reddened. She gave Coco a gentle, frustrated tap before helping her back to the bed. Go lie down. I'll have someone make you some chicken soup. I glanced at Mr. Felix. He stood there with his mouth slightly open, a vacant look in his eyes, as if his entire worldview had just been shattered. Get your eldest son and his wife back here immediately. Bring your 2 granddaughters too. And where's your mother? Get her back here as well. Everyone must be in this house before midnight tonight. Mr. Felix flinched, looking at me in disbelief. You can even figure that out? He stammered. I'll make the calls right now. Coco was now looking at me with a mixture of awe and reverence. Master Jade, how did you know my brother's 2 kids were girls? I pointed to her bedside table. There's a family photo right there. I didn't have to figure anything out. Let's try to be a little scientific, okay? Over time, a soul trap hex will condense its negative energy into a malevolent aura. But the Felix family was large, and judging by their faces, they were all blessed with good fortune and strong constitutions. The aura was initially too weak to harm them directly, aside from causing nightmares. Mrs. Felix had been having nightmares for half a month before she finally found me. By now, the aura had grown much stronger. It was the 7th lunar month of a year that also corresponded with the 7th celestial stem. and the spirit trapped in the house had died in the 7th month, amplifying its power. It was just bad luck that this coincided with Coco's own moment of weakness in the position, which is why she was the first to be harmed. If it were just a simple injury, it would be easy to handle. But now that Coco has had a miscarriage, the aura has consumed that nascent spirit. This is no longer just a malevolent aura. Liam swallowed hard. If it's not a malevolent aura, what is it? It's a death miasma. Once a death miasma forms, it will claim a life before midnight. Ah. The 4 family members huddled together and screamed. Coco was on the verge of tears. Then what are we still doing here? Let's pack our things and go hide at my husband's place. I shook my head. You can't hide. You've been exposed for so long. The negative energy is already inside you. If the other family members don't come back, they'll be in danger wherever they are. It's better for everyone to stay here. For the miasma to kill, it has to possess one of you. Once it does, we can identify the possessed person, and I have ways of dealing with it. After dinner, send the students downstairs home. Dismiss all your household staff as well. No outsiders can remain in this house. After giving my instructions, I took out my compass. I planned to go downstairs and try to vent some of the energy from the soul trap hex. It probably wouldn't do much now that the miasma had formed, but every little bit helped. Weakening it, even slightly, was better than nothing. As I reached the top of the stairs, I realized Mr. Felix had been following me so closely he was practically plastered to my back. Mr. Felix, what are you doing? He looked at me with a grave expression. Master Jade, protect me. Me. Chloe had been watching the staircase. When she saw me and Mr. Felix coming down alone, she rushed over, gloating. Haha Jade, you big fraud. You've been exposed. Let me tell you, Uncle Felix is a major donor to our university. He won't let a charlatan like you, who preys on people with superstitious nonsense, get away with this. Uncle Felix, you should call the dean and have Jade expelled immediately. Mr. Felix snapped. Insolence. How dare you speak to Master Jade that way? What's your name? Chloe. Uncle Felix, it's me, Chloe. My dad brought me to your house once. Don't you remember? Chloe was about to cry. Mr. Felix shot her an annoyed look and called a servant over to remove her. Get her out of here. And make sure she's far away. We can't have her interfering with Master Jade's work. Chloe was dragged away, sobbing, as the other students whispered among themselves. She was utterly humiliated. Mr. Felix turned back to me, his face a mask of solemnity. Master Jade, I shall stand guard for you. Mia. That won't be necessary. A short while later, the rest of the family came downstairs. Even Coco was there, hobbling on crutches and trailing behind me. Master Jade, we'll stand guard for you. The soul trap hex was constructed using 17 warding coins. In ancient times, these were copper coins marked with the eyebrow hair of a virgin. Coins passed through thousands of hands, absorbing a great deal of positive yang energy, and the virgin's mark helped suppress negative yin energy. Nowadays, $1 coins work just as well. I held my compass, explaining the hex to the family, while I searched for the coins. Mr. Felix narrowed his eyes at me. Master Jade, I'm not questioning you, but our housekeeper, Mrs. Nolan, is very thorough. If there were this many coins hidden around, she would have found his. He sucked in a sharp breath as he watched me pull a dripping wet coin from an aquarium. A hole had been drilled in the center, making it look like an ancient coin. 17 coins form a minor celestial pattern. Only one of them is mobile, and since water represents movement, it had to be in water. The others were sealed within the walls and columns during construction. They'll be much harder to get out. I had Mr. Felix prepare a bowl of uncooked rice. I dropped the coin into it. A moment later, a plume of black smoke rose from the rice, and the entire bowl instantly turned black. Coco gasped and slapped her thigh. I forgot to film this for my Instagram story. Seeing the black smoke, I didn't dare tell them the truth, afraid of scaring them. The negative aura was even stronger than I'd thought. There was a good chance there wasn't just one death miasma, but two. After midnight, the victor would consume the other. That's when the real trouble would begin. After the party ended, the rest of the Felix family rushed back. Liam's older brother arrived with his wife and their adorable twin daughters. The moment he walked in, He looked at his father disapprovingly. Dad, don't tell me you're getting into this stuff, just like Mom. Mr. Felix cut him off. Quiet. It was already 8:30 p.m. The high hour, from 9 to 11 p.m., was a time of conflict with the Shen hour. This was when the two miasmas would fight for a host, a struggle for life. I took out a cinnabar pen and dotted the wrist of every family member. Cinnabar repels evil. If one of them was possessed, the mark would at least protect their body from severe harm after the entity was expelled. Watch your wrists. The person whose cinnabar mark disappears is the one who's been possessed. For now, just move around the first floor. If you're in danger, scream. A minute later, I was sitting on the sofa, completely surrounded. Mr. Felix was pressed against my left side. Mrs. Felix was clinging to my right arm. The twins were each hugging one of my legs. Coco was wedged between my knees, and Liam was standing behind me with his arms around my neck. The old Mrs. Felix and the elder brother's family sat on the opposite sofa, staring at me. I rolled my eyes. How are you supposed to lure it out like this? Everyone spread out. Go wander around the house. Report back to the living room every 10 minutes. The older brother was the bravest, or perhaps just the most skeptical. He stood up first, announcing he needed to use the restroom. He was gone for more than 10 minutes. I checked my watch. Just as I was about to go look for him, he returned, his face damp and a strange, eerie smile on his lips. He sat down on the sofa and told Liam he had something to show him. Liam leaned in, then suddenly turned and started making frantic faces at me. I glanced at the brother's arm. It was smooth and clear. The cinnabar mark was gone. Everyone gasped and scrambled to hide behind me. I pulled a bagua mirror from my bag and aimed it at the brother. He reached out, took the mirror, and adjusted his hair in the reflection. Still handsome. These Korean stylists really know their stuff. Me. Everyone started screaming and stampeding for the exits. I sighed in exasperation. Stop running. It's not him. Then where's the mark on your wrist? The brother put the mirror down. Oh, I just washed my hands. It washed off. Dude, what the hell? You're going to give someone a heart attack. Liam grumbled and tried to snatch the bagua mirror from his brother. But the brother's hands were still wet, and as Liam grabbed for it, he instinctively pulled back. The mirror slipped from his fingers and shattered on the floor. At the same instant, a cat shrieked, and then bam, all the lights went out, plunging the entire house into darkness. Chaos erupted. People screamed and ran in every direction, knocking things over. Luckily, I was prepared. I pulled out a flashlight from my bag, one of those super bright tactical ones I'd bought online. When I switched it on, it was like firing a laser cannon, illuminating half the room as if it were daytime. I turned around. Liam was standing right behind me. He gave me a stiff, tight-lipped smile. Even under the harsh, white glare of the flashlight, which would make a normal person look ghoulish, he was still as handsome as ever. I smiled back at him, then whipped a string of 5 emperor's coins from my pocket and with lightning speed, shoved them directly into his mouth. Liam immediately clutched his throat and let out a scream that was utterly inhuman. He tried to run, but I chased him down and delivered a flying kick that sent him sprawling. I pinned him with one knee on his back, pulled out a coil of red cord, and swiftly tied him up. Someone helped me carry him to that circular landing on the stairs. The family was frozen, stunned by the scene. Black smoke was billowing from where the red cord touched Liam's skin, and his face was contorted in a savage, snarling mask. What are you all staring at? Get over here and help. After they all managed to haul Liam onto the landing, I knelt on his back, recited a dispelling chant, and laid out a simple purification formation. After a few moments, the negative aura around him began to fade. I hadn't even needed to use my other, more powerful artifacts. Strange. For 2 death miasmas, this was surprisingly weak. There had to be another one in the house. But I waited all night, and the other miasma never appeared. By dawn, I took my compass and swept the house again. The negative energy had mostly dissipated. I instructed the family that to completely break the hex, they had to find all the remaining 16 coins. 8 were in the columns, and I pointed out the locations of the others. They also had to demolish the circular landing on the staircase. 2 people died in this house. They died in the 7th lunar month. and their zodiac sign was the monkey. You need to investigate this. Once you find out who they were, go to their graves, burn some incense, and make an offering. As I packed my things to leave, Mr. Felix was looking at me with an expression of pure reverence. Master, about that bagua mirror my son broke. How much was it? I held up 2 fingers. $20, bought it on a discount app. Right. 2 million. Plus your fee for this trip. I'll have a total of 5 million transferred to your account. The family thanked me profusely as they saw me out, but my mind was still on the missing death miasma. It was trapped by the soul trap hex, so it shouldn't have been able to leave the Felix's property, unless someone present that night was carrying another cursed object that it could use to escape. But with so many students at the party, how could I possibly find them? I was so preoccupied I barely ate any dinner that night. The next day, I received the 5 million from the Felix family. As usual, I donated $4,995,000 and kept $5,000 for myself. I splurged, buying a new pair of $108 vintage style sneakers. Back on campus, the rumors were flying. On the short walk from the cafeteria to my dorm, I heard at least 8 different versions of the story. Some said I'd pretended to be a psychic to get close to Liam, only to be exposed by his father and kicked out. Others claimed I actually had some skills, but that I was less of a psychic and more of a high-end fixer, a broker who moved between the wealthy elite, like some kind of guru. It was obvious who was behind it all. Chloe. This is hilarious. Fortune-telling? Feng shui? Ha ha ha. Where does she even come up with this stuff? Chloe was sitting in her chair, chatting with our roommate while stuffing her face with cake. Lily looked at her with concern. Chloe, are you okay? You just ate an entire 6-inch cake. Don't eat any more. Chloe was normally very thin and extremely strict about her diet. She'd usually split an apple with someone, eating only half herself. Seeing her devour cake like this was bizarre. I walked up behind her and touched the back of her neck. Just as I expected, it was ice cold. Beneath the skin, a flicker of black energy pulsed and then vanished. I'd found it. Chloe angrily slapped my hand away. Jade, what do you think you're doing? Possession by a miasma leaves the host's body weak and drained, requiring massive amounts of food to recover. Chloe must have been carrying some kind of cursed object that allowed the miasma to escape the Felix's house with her. When 2 miasmas exist together, they are symbiotically linked. When I destroyed the one at the Felix's, this one must have been severely weakened. It couldn't kill anyone for now, but it could still cause plenty of trouble. Chloe, don't say I didn't warn you. For old time's sake, if you ask me nicely, I might consider coming to your house to perform a cleansing. Chloe laughed as if she'd just heard the world's greatest joke. Ha ha ha, Jade. Are you that desperate for money? Are you addicted to playing the role of a master? She shot me a disgusted look and shoved past me. What, couldn't scam any money out of the Felix's, so now you're targeting me. I knew it. There's no way Uncle Felix would fall for someone like you. Chloe continued her taunts, with Lily chiming in to agree. I didn't bother responding. Just then, Liam called and asked me out to dinner. The Felix family, true to their status as local tycoons, worked fast. Liam told me they'd discovered that during the construction of the house, 2 workers had gotten into an argument and fallen from the scaffolding. Since the development was all luxury homes, news of a death would have ruined sales. The developer covered it up, paying off the families with a quick settlement. Each family got about $800,000, which wasn't a small amount, but compared to the millions the homes were selling for, it was insulting. One of the workers' families never accepted the settlement and held a deep grudge against the developer. Their ancestors had been legitimate artisans from the Luban School of Carpentry, which had its own esoteric traditions, including certain hexes. Hearing that the developer planned to live in this particular house, they had set the soul trap hex to take revenge on his family. My dad is friends with the developer. The developer ran into some financial trouble later on and sold the house to us. Man, I can't believe there was such a dark story behind it all. Liam talked while wolfing down 3 steak dinners and an entire roasted chicken. Liam, you can't eat like this. The consequences will be serious. I explained how possession by the miasma drained the body's life force. Liam sucked in a sharp breath, quickly spat out the chicken leg he was chewing, and clutched his chest, his face pale. Master Jade, boo-hoo, don't scare me. How serious? Am I going to die? I shook my head. You'll get fat, Liam. I wasn't joking. Following the same pattern, Chloe soon began to blow up like a balloon. Her face got rounder, and a roll of fat appeared on her stomach. But that wasn't the worst of it. One morning, we woke up to find Chloe sitting alone on the balcony, eerily combing her hair, while chewing on something. Lily opened the balcony door and let out a blood-curdling scream. A dead pigeon lay in Chloe's lap. She had torn off its entire wing and was gnawing on it, blood dripping down her chin. Feathers were scattered everywhere. It was a gruesome scene, like something out of a horror movie. As Lily shrieked, Chloe seemed to snap out of it. Her eyes refocused. She looked down at the pigeon in her hands and started screaming too. The series of high-pitched screams brought people from other dorms running. Soon, the rumor that Chloe was possessed spread throughout the school. We often left birdseed on the balcony for the local pigeons and sparrows. Chloe had always loved feeding them, and had even given them names. Looking at the mangled bird, she clung to Lily, sobbing uncontrollably. She said she felt hungry all the time. And that morning, looking at the pigeon, she was overcome with an intense craving, an overwhelming desire to eat it. She said she couldn't control herself. Didn't you say Jade knows about that magic stuff? Chloe, maybe you should ask her to take a look? Chloe froze, then shook her head decisively and shot me a venomous glare. I don't believe in any of that. I'll just go see a therapist. Chloe went from a therapist to a psychiatrist, but neither could cure her affliction. Her mother finally broke down and, after much effort and expense, hired a famous master from Hong Kong. Chloe boasted about it in the dorm. He's a real master. His appearance fee alone is 7 figures. I heard he's the go-to feng shui consultant for all the tycoons in Hong Kong. Even the richest man in the city has used him. Our roommates gushed, "Wow, Chloe, your family is so rich." The day before the master was due to arrive in the city, Chloe's father managed to get my contact information through a long chain of connections. The moment he saw me, he dropped to his knees. "Master Jade, I know you have real power. I'm begging you, please, save my whole family." "Well, Chloe mentioned your wife has already hired a master," I said, trying to help him up. He clutched my arm as he stood, looking on the verge of tears. "That foolish woman. She complains if her farts aren't imported. Hong Kong is a tiny island. What kind of master could possibly come from there? Master Jade, both Mr. Felix and Chairman Mike have told me about you. I know you're the real deal. My daughter is immature, and I apologize on her behalf. Please save us. My family is going crazy. We keep finding dead animals all over the house. I just can't." As Chloe's father held my hand, the dorm room door opened. Chloe walked in, laughing and joking with our roommates. When she saw us, she let out a furious scream. "Jade, you shameless slut! How dare you try to seduce my father?" She lunged at me, raising her hand to strike. But before she could, her father swung his arm around and slapped her hard across the face. "Apologize to Master Jade right now." Chloe clutched her cheek, staring at us in disbelief. "You hit me? You hit me for her? Richard Lowe, I'm never speaking to you again." She ran out, sobbing. Her father sighed, his face a mask of misery, and bowed to me repeatedly. "Master Jade, I am so sorry. I've been so busy with work, and her mother has spoiled her rotten. I hope you can find it in your heart to forgive her, and not hold this against a child." Our roommates stood by, utterly flabbergasted. Chloe was always talking about her father, the powerful CEO of a major company. We'd even seen him in interviews on TV, charismatic, sophisticated, and mature. Who was this groveling, desperate man? If it were any other matter, I'd have ignored Chloe's bratty behavior. But a death miasma was different. It could take lives. As the last true geommancer, I couldn't just stand by. I nodded. "Fine. Give me your address. I'll come to your house tomorrow." No, Master Jade. That's not necessary. I'll have my driver pick you up from campus tomorrow." Mr. Lowe's face lit up with relief. He thanked me profusely and left. Our roommates stood there, dumbfounded. "Jade, are you really a feng shui master? That was insane." Chloe's dad was so respectful to her. Lily pursed her lips, hesitating for a moment before her eyes lit up with an idea. Jade, can we come with you tomorrow to watch? I gave her a flat look. If you want to go to the Lowe's house, you should ask Chloe. Later that afternoon, Chloe returned, her eyes red and swollen from crying. Lily went over and started whispering to her. Chloe turned and shot me a hateful glare. Fine. We'll go tomorrow. And I'll invite more of our classmates to come along. We'll let everyone see what a pathetic little clown Jade is compared to a real master. To ensure my humiliation, Chloe invited half our class, and she made sure to invite Liam, who for the first time ever, accepted her invitation. Chloe was ecstatic. Jade, you'd better not try to sneak away tonight. Tomorrow, I'm going to show you the miserable fate that awaits a fraud. The next morning, I arrived at the Lowe's residence with my canvas tote bag. Chloe and a large group of students trailed behind me. Their villa was in a development in the southern part of the city. While it couldn't compare to Liam's mansion, the 1,000-square-meter house was still incredibly lavish. As I stepped through the front door, I saw that the feng shui master from Hong Kong was already there. He was a man in his 60s, thin and wiry with salt and pepper hair and a goatee. He was dressed in a traditional Tang suit, giving him an air of scholarly wisdom. Mr. Lowe greeted me politely and had someone bring me tea. TSK. Richard, is this the master you hired? A teenage girl? Are you kidding me? Mrs. Lowe looked me up and down with a critical, disdainful gaze. Chloe went to her mother's side, linked her arm, and lifted her chin arrogantly. Mom, I told you she was a fraud. Mrs. Lowe patted her daughter's hand and nodded at the Hong Kong master. Master Nolan, pay her no mind. Let's begin. But Master Nolan clearly wasn't going to let it go. He walked over to me, hands clasped behind his back, and stared at me coldly. Young lady, the arcane arts demand respect for tradition and lineage. The I Ching, the Bagua, the classics of our craft. How many of these have you actually read? Even if you began studying in the womb, you would barely have scratched the surface by now. I despise nothing more than charlatans who feign knowledge of the metaphysical. You should leave. I ignored him and looked at Mr. Lowe. Master Nolan also glanced at Mr. Lowe, his tone growing sterner. Mr. Lowe, this is highly unorthodox. Practitioners in my field have our own schools of thought, our own ancestral techniques. It is unheard of to have multiple masters consult on the same case. If you insist on her remaining, then I shall take my leave. At this, even Mr. Lowe hesitated. He had been so sure, but this Hong Kong master, his demeanor, his speech, his entire presence just screamed expert. Look at his equipment, the ornate compass, the ritual bells, the peachwood sword. He even had 2 assistants in black suits standing by. He looked so professional, so legitimate. The students watching from behind started whispering. Oh my God, Jade is so screwed. She pretended to be a master and got called out by a real one. They're about to kick her out. Yeah, if I were her, I'd die of embarrassment. Master Nolan waved a hand, and his 2 assistants stepped forward. Miss, if you please. Mr. Lowe was wavering. Chloe and her mother looked triumphant. The others were practically salivating at the drama. I sighed. Fine. I'm done playing games. This is exhausting. You're of the Sanhee school, aren't you? At your age, you must be of the generation. What is to you? Master Nolan gasped, his mouth falling open. He is my father. Who are you? I nodded. The compass of the Sanhee school has one corner made from black, lightning-struck wood, unlike the rosewood used by other schools. I pulled a lightning wood token from my bag and held it out to him. It was a palm-sized token, with 4 ancient characters carved into it. Order of the 5 Thunders. In the bottom left corner, a piece was missing. Ah. Master Nolan stumbled back a step. His eyes suddenly reddened, and he bent at the waist, giving me a deep, profound bow. Nolan, 72nd generation disciple of the Sanhee School of the Wind sect, greets the ahem ahem. I coughed loudly. Master Nolan immediately snapped his mouth shut and stood to the side, his hands clasped respectfully. The arcane world has 8 major sections. The Wind sect studies the geography and energy of the world. Most feng shui masters belong to it. The lightning wood token in my hand was the symbol of the sect leader. All right. You can begin. I'll offer some guidance. I waved a hand at Master Nolan. He looked up, his face filled with delighted surprise. Yes, Sect Master Jade. I'll prepare at once. Master Nolan excitedly went to work with his compass and formations. I turned around to find everyone staring at us, completely dumbfounded. Jaws were on the floor, eyes wide with shock. Gulp. After a long moment, Mr. Lowe was the first to recover. He swallowed hard and timidly offered me a plate of fruit. And Master Jade, please have a seat. Have some fruit. The students erupted. Oh my God. What did I just see? Is Jade like a secret gang leader or something? That Master Nolan is so respectful to her. This is insane. Are they acting? This feels like a movie. It's too crazy to be real. As the students buzzed with speculation, Chloe and her mother stood off to the side, their faces a mask of ugly disbelief. Master Nolan, oblivious to them, was already busy with his compass. After every step, he would turn to look at me, his expression like a student waiting for his homework to be graded. Master Jade, is this correct? I leaned in to look at his compass and immediately sensed something was wrong. The needle was spinning erratically, but I couldn't detect a trace of the death miasma. The Earth has 4 currents, and energy flows from 8 directions. External energy follows form, internal energy follows life. I stared at the compass, my fingers flying through calculations. My face changed. This is bad. I shot up and sprinted for the stairs, with Master Nolan and his assistants right behind me. I burst into the second-floor master bedroom to see a maid smiling at her reflection in a mirror, a knife raised in her hand. Seeing our reflection, her smile widened, her lips stretching to an unnatural angle. Then she lifted the knife and plunged it toward her own stomach. Shit. There was no time. I kicked out, and my $108 sneaker flew off my foot, smacking her in the abdomen and blocking the blow. I dove forward, tackling her to the ground and stuffing a string of 5 Emperor's coins into her mouth. The maid shrieked as black smoke poured from her lips, and then she passed out. But that was just the beginning of the problem. On the vanity in the bedroom sat a small, Thai ghost amulet. These ghost amulets contain the most vicious spirits. Now it's met a death miasma. They've been fighting this whole time, and now the miasma has consumed the ghost. This is really, really bad. I smeared a handful of cinnabar powder over the amulet statue and stuffed it in a bag. Quick, let's get downstairs. By the time we got back to the first-floor living room, it was pure chaos. Lily was waving a fruit knife, laughing maniacally as she slashed wildly at people. The students were screaming and scrambling to get away. Chloe was terrified, her face pale. Call the police. Somebody call the police. Help. I had Master Nolan's assistants try to control the scene, while I quickly laid out a simple exorcism formation with copper coins on the floor. All the men, get inside this circle. All the women, go to the other side of the sofa. Once everyone was positioned according to the formation, I pulled out my 5 Thunders token, my eyes fixed on Lily. The Lowe's house was different from the Felix's. There was no soul trap hex here. The miasma could escape. If I couldn't contain it now, it would get out, and who knows how many murders would follow. Nolan, you distract her. Act weak, don't let her think she can't beat you. I'm going to set up a containment array to trap it in this house. The highest level of containment array is known as the Heaven and Earth Net. I pulled a reel of ritually prepared ink line from my bag, and began to rapidly weave the formation. Master Nolan dodged and weaved, narrowly avoiding Lily's attacks, looking completely overwhelmed. I praised him. You're a good actor. He was panting, his clothes torn. I'm not acting weak, I am weak. Sect leader, help me. Master Nolan cried out as Lily tackled him to the ground. At that exact moment, the formation was complete. A cold light flashed through the room, followed by several arcs of lightning. The students were speechless. My brain just short-circuited. Did Jade just create lightning in the living room with a ball of black string? Someone, please explain this with modern science. The class president shook his head. I feel like something just broke. Oh right. It was my understanding of reality. I bit my fingertip and smeared the blood on the lightning wood token, then threw it at Lily. By the power of the law, I command you. A bolt of lightning shot out from the token, splitting into a dense web of electricity that surrounded Lily. The class president screamed. I can't take it anymore. Are there hidden cameras? Are we in a movie? What kind of special effect is this? I ignored him, focused on subduing the entity in Lily. The miasma was incredibly strong. It was already starting to break through my lightning net. I pulled out my dowsing rod and smacked her over the head with it. Master Nolan, from the side, eyed my dowsing rod greedily. That rod? Is that the one that belonged to the great Master Yang from the Tang dynasty? TSK. After a tremendous effort, I finally managed to subdue the miasma, sealing it inside the Thai ghost amulet, which I tucked safely into my bag. Everyone breathed a collective sigh of relief. Chloe's father came over, bowing and thanking me endlessly. I scolded him, my face grim. You can never keep something like this in your house again. These Thai ghost amulets are made from malevolent spirits. If you don't control them properly, they'll turn on you. They bring nothing but trouble. Mr. Lowe shot a fierce glare at his wife and continued to apologize. Master Jade, I'll be sure to keep a close eye on her from now on. Then he yelled at Chloe. What are you standing there for? Apologize to Master Jade. Chloe walked over, her face beet red. In the chaos, her clothes had been torn, and her hair was a mess. I'm sorry. Chloe burst into tears, terrified. She clung to her mother's arm. Mom, that was so scary. I thought I was going to die. Mrs. Lowe also came over to apologize. The two of them hugged each other, their faces pale with fright. I waved my hand dismissively. I was a sect leader. Why would I bother holding a grudge against a teenage girl? The scene was a mess. Mr. Lowe arranged for everything to be cleaned up and for the injured students to be taken to the hospital. As I left the Lowe's house, Nolan trotted along behind me. Sect leader, you were so amazing. You must come with me to Hong Kong. I have an extremely difficult case there. All the feng shui masters in Hong Kong combined haven't been able to solve it. I looked at him, curious. Tell me more. You know the tycoon Joseph Lau? The headstone on his ancestral grave suddenly cracked. For 3 months straight, every new headstone they've put up has split right down the middle. A cracked headstone is a terrible omen in feng shui, signaling disaster for the descendants. Lau is going crazy. He's offering a fee in the high 8 figures. Sect leader, if you come to Hong Kong, you can show those ignorant so-called masters what real power looks like. 8 figures? Tens of millions. I did a quick mental calculation and stopped walking. The money isn't important. The main thing is I've never been to Hong Kong. It would be nice to look around. The people of Hong Kong were famously superstitious and traditional. But after the Cultural Revolution mainland, many ancient arts were lost, so they tended to look down on practitioners from the mainland. It was time to open their eyes. But that is another story. The end.